Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, as we always do, let's take a quick look outside our beautiful weather window once again today. Boy, it sure felt like spring today, didn't it? Lots of blue sky out there, some wispy high clouds and some mid-level clouds at times today. But all in all, as we look down at the beautiful Wenatchee Valley from our Sky-Fi tower camera, Wenatchee Heights, it was a beautiful one out there with temperatures well above normal. We'll talk about that when we get to our weather segment. But things will change as we get into tonight and tomorrow. The wind that we saw today and are still seeing out there right now, that's just ahead of a pretty strong cold front that'll move through. And this is the kind of wind that we're looking at for Saturday. Here in the Wenatchee area, 25 to 30 mile an hour gusts are possible. Also, you folks up in Winthrop, 20 to 25 miles an hour. But I'll tell you what, we're going to see some very strong winds around parts of the Waterville Plateau. 50 to 60 mile an hour winds there and all the way up into Omak as well. Moses Lake, very strong winds. So if you are traveling tomorrow, watch out for some fire danger, some blowing dust, and might even see some tree damage and power outages. We'll talk more about that and the weekend weather for Easter coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Central Washington Hospital has been on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic here in north central Washington. But as it treats patients with the virus in its intensive care unit, the rest of the hospital has seen a sharp decline in traffic. More than 100 Confluence employees have now been tested for coronavirus, with 2 workers testing positive. Jobless claims have skyrocketed across the state thanks to shutdowns related to the pandemic, and it's no different here in central Washington. And a child rapist who acted as his own attorney at trial, he was sentenced yesterday to more than 28 years in prison. But first, we begin tonight. A third Chelan County resident has died now from COVID-19. The Chelan Douglas Health District reported the death Friday morning, but has not yet released any details. Confluence Health said the latest person was not a patient at Central Washington Hospital. Also today, Grant County topped 100 confirmed cases of coronavirus at 101. Of those, 41 have been in Quincy and 19 in the Mattawa area. Chelan County, meanwhile, has had 45 confirmed cases and Douglas County, 12. Well, Central Washington Hospital has been on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic in north central Washington, but as it treats patients with the virus in its intensive care unit, the rest of the hospital has seen a sharp decline in traffic. NCWLIFE's Kyle Montgomery reports.
Far from being overwhelmed during the COVID-19 pandemic, most departments at Central Washington Hospital have been much less busy in recent weeks. On March 17th, the Wenatchee Hospital suspended elective surgeries and routine care visits as it prepared to treat an influx of patients with the virus, as had been seen at hospitals elsewhere. Though the intensive care unit is currently treating 11 COVID-19 related patients, 9 of whom are on ventilators, the patient numbers for the rest of the hospital are way down. Andrew Canning, Marketing and Communications Manager for Confluence Health, said there are typically 140 patients in beds at the hospital, but in the past 4 weeks, that number has averaged closer to 80, and far fewer patients are showing up at the emergency department and Confluence walk-in clinics. Canning said the emergency department normally sees about 100 patients a day, but that number has been cut in half. The visits to Confluence walk-in clinics are down even more, with a 60% drop-off. As of Friday morning, there were 45 people with the coronavirus in Chelan County and 12 in Douglas County, with most of these not requiring hospitalization. Confluence Health CEO Dr. Peter Rutherford said the hospital has suffered a big financial hit. Confluence leaders have been meeting with financial advisors to get a handle on the losses and potential remedies. Reporting for NCWLIFE, I'm Kyle Montgomery.
Well, speaking of Confluence Health, more than 100 Confluence employees have now been tested for coronavirus, with 2 workers testing positive. Confluence spokesman Andrew Canning said as of midweek, a total of 104 staff had undergone tests. The 2 workers who had positive results for COVID-19 are not based in Central Washington Hospital, which Confluence oversees. The health system also opened its second drive-through testing facility this week, this one at its Omak clinic to serve Okanagan County residents. For drive-through services there or at the Washington Station on Emerson Avenue, call the Confluence COVID hotline at 663-8711. Well, jobless claims have skyrocketed across the state thanks to shutdowns related to the pandemic, and it's no different here in central Washington. The Employment Security Department reports almost 5,300 unemployment claims filed in Chelan County in just the first 3 weeks of the crisis. In Douglas County, the figure is more than 2,100. The figures appeared to plateau last week, but state agencies say they're preparing for a new surge in jobless claims as more workers, like independent contractors and part-time employees, become eligible to apply. Well, a child rapist who acted as his own attorney at trial, he was sentenced yesterday to more than 28 years in prison. Jeremy Douglas Peterson, who's 47, sexually abused the victim 9 years ago when she was about 6 years old. He managed to win acquittal in his February trial in Chelan County on one count of child molestation, but the jury convicted him of child rape after testimony from the young victim and other witnesses. Peterson, a Spokane native, has a lengthy criminal history that contributed to his sentence. Judge Leslie Allen imposed an exceptional sentence, which means it's higher than the standard range of 20 to 26 years. Peterson told the judge he plans to appeal. Well, coming up next, East Wenatchee has hired a new police chief. We'll tell you who that is. After paying the State Department of Ecology $170,000 and making mandatory upgrades, Coleman Oil Company is now settled once again. Local treasurers say your property taxes are still due on time, even while the state suffers a public health emergency. After 6 inmates tested positive for COVID-19 at the Moreau Correctional Complex, it's triggered a brief riot by more than 100 inmates on Wednesday. And we continue tonight with our coronavirus PSAs. Tonight we feature outdoor enthusiast Cody Gillen. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu because we work to get you to work.
Coming home should never be a chore. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Merry Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today. 509-663-1710.
Aging and Adult Care offers many in-home care options and services for seniors and family caregivers. But did you know they also offer free in-home delivered meals? Aging and Adult Care has expanded its program for home-delivered meals to help elderly and vulnerable adults at this challenging time. If you are in need of prepared meals or know someone who could benefit, call Aging and Adult Care for more information about free home-delivered meals. Call 509-886-0700.
Welcome back. In another news, East Wenatchee Mayor Jerilee Crawford says she's offered the job of Chief of Police to Rick Johnson, currently the Chelan County Sheriff's Chief of Patrol. The hiring would have to be approved by the East Wenatchee City Council at its April 21st meeting. Johnson was one of 2 finalists forwarded to Crawford this week, narrowed down from a field of 20 initial applicants. Johnson lives in Douglas County and previously worked as a Wenatchee Police Department officer from 2003 to 2016, including 3 years as sergeant. Crawford says, quote, he's the right choice for East Wenatchee. Well, after paying the State Department of Ecology $170,000 and making mandatory upgrades, Coleman Oil Company is now settled with the Environmental Protection Agency for another $133,000. The Lewiston, Idaho company allowed 3,800 gallons of biodiesel to leach into the ground in the Columbia River in 2016 from its Riverside terminal in Wenatchee. Ecology imposed fines and upgrade requirements on Coleman's facility in both Pateros and Dayton. The EPA found the company violated several federal spill prevention regulations. The Wenatchee terminal has since been shut down. Well, local treasurers say your property taxes are still due on time, even while the state suffers a public health emergency. But Chelan and Douglas counties may offer some relief if the payment causes a hardship. Douglas County Treasurer Natalie Marks offers a grace period option, paying half your tax by April 30th and the rest a month later, or a payment plan option, breaking the tax into 8 installments. Meanwhile, Chelan County Treasurer David Griffith says taxpayers can contact his office to explore similar options. Well, after 6 inmates tested positive for COVID-19 at the Monroe Correctional Complex, it triggered a brief riot by more than 100 inmates on Wednesday. Washington Department of Corrections officers used pepper spray, sting balls, lights, noise, and rubber pellets to quell the demonstration. At a press conference Thursday, Corrections Secretary Stephen Sinclair explained what happened.
Monday is when we had our first case of active COVID within the system. And with that individual, we immediately instituted contact mapping to identify those he may have had contact with, and we immediately put 6 additional individuals into isolation status so that we could test them. At that time, we also started making moves to move people that we identified as potentially vulnerable based on CDC guidance, and take extra precautions for those individuals. There was some resistance to that, but we continued, and I believe it was the following day that test results came back on the other 6 individuals indicating that they were COVID positive. And so we intensified our efforts to move the more vulnerable individuals to different housing situations to better protect them. And that was met with resistance. At the same time, another living unit was placed on quarantine, and they broke the quarantine, and a number, I want to say 50 or so individuals went out into the recreation yard, which was contrary to the quarantine, and really that puts people at risk. So they broke the quarantine, they went into a smaller number of those individuals engaged in some activity and essentially vandalizing the living unit. And those individuals, we responded to that and were able to regain control of the unit relatively quickly. And so we had to move those individuals out.
In other news, NCWLIFE is producing a series of public service announcements from people in our communities regarding COVID-19. Tonight we feature outdoor enthusiast Cody Gillen.
Stay home, stay healthy, stay safe. Hi, I'm Cody Gillen, and I love to get out in Chelan and Douglas counties for outdoor fun. We have so many great places to go, and exercise is good for your health. But I'm asking you to please, stay home. Enjoy your own neighborhood for a walk. And if you do head to a park or a trail, no groups, please. Remember, 2's company, 3 is a crowd. And when you encounter others, stay 6 feet apart. We need to take care of each other and get rid of the coronavirus. Please help. Together we can do this. Stay home, stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you.
You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air. 662-6846.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Owner Andrew Vickery brings years of experience to help you transition your backyard into a place where memories are made, family time is looked forward to, and friends are always welcome. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa offers many different styles and sizes of artesian spas, both new and used, as well as residential and commercial pool and spa services, regular maintenance and repairs, and all the chemicals required to keep your pool and spa crystal clear. Stop on by Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa today.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Chelan and Douglas counties are prepared to house up to 50 people who are homeless or need isolation during the coronavirus emergency, but the need could become even greater than that. In tonight's feature story, Blake Baldwin, the Chelan County Economic Development Director who's heading up the project, talked about it today with NCWLIFE's Jefferson Robbins.
It's titled the COVID-19 Outbreak Emergency Housing Program. It's a grant program that's administered through the Department of Commerce. And Chelan and Douglas counties, we've made the decision to combine our funding. So we've received a total of $885,447. And it's specifically used for people that need COVID-19 related isolation, so long as they meet certain criteria. And that criteria would be individuals that are in need of quarantine or isolation, that might be homeless and unsheltered, or they live in a situation where they can't go home should they be in need of quarantine or isolation without risking exposing others in their household or their families. And then there is another criteria or another list of eligibility that would be for individuals that have been displaced from their current shelter due to social distancing requirements because of the outbreak of COVID-19 within the shelter.
In the categories that you just mentioned, would it also apply to, say, like health workers who, I'm on the ward, I've been exposed, I have kids at home, and I don't want to spread this any further than I have to?
It absolutely would, yes, and that's something that we're exploring options on right now. They could be housed in the existing facility, but we are looking at other options should we reach a need beyond the 50-bed capacity that we've currently reserved, that we're looking at other options for other facilities to house emergency service and healthcare workers. But yes, they absolutely would fall under that criteria of not able to go home without risking exposing others to the illness. We have secured a site in East Wenatchee that's been approved by our health district for being close to medical facilities. We have reserved 50 rooms for the next 2 months, so 50 rooms starting at the beginning of April, with the ability to expand up to 99 rooms if we meet that need. We certainly hope at the local government and healthcare level that we don't need to expand the rooms, but if in the unfortunate circumstance that we do have that capacity within this facility. And we've been reached out, a bunch of different facilities and hotels and other individuals have reached out to me directly the last couple weeks with their willingness to partner with us as well. So just having that outpour of community support has been really encouraging for the future of this program as well, should we need to explore that.
So do you have any idea about the numbers of people we might be talking about?
Right now, we do not. We have contracted with Serve Wenatchee Valley, and they are going to be working as our housing coordinator. I know that they've already placed one individual and her baby, and thankfully they have been discharged and but they were waiting test results. And I know that they have a couple other individuals right now, but unfortunately, just with the fluid nature of this virus, it's very difficult to pin down exactly what that need is going to be. Hence the reason that we've reserved the number of beds we have. We did that with the hopes that we'll never have to fill any of them, but that's becoming more apparent every day that they will be filled.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. And what a day out there today. Lots of sunshine. And look at that unofficial high temperature today. 76 degrees in the Wenatchee area. 61 is where we should be for this time of year, so we blew past that. 53. Could you believe that this morning, how warm it was? It felt like a summer morning, didn't it? That was our low this morning. 40 is where we should be. Record high, we almost got there. 77 degrees way back in 1968. And the record low, 29 degrees, set back in 2010. Sunrise 6:21, and the sun will set tonight at 7:44. Let's take a look at that surface loop now and show you what we can expect. There's a lot to get to. Tonight, we're going to see those windy conditions continue. We've had them pesky all afternoon. Tonight, they'll drop to about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Spots of windier areas around the west. We're going to see lots of windy areas as we get into Saturday. In fact, we talked about it. Waterville Plateau up into Omak, Winthrop. 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts are possible here in Wenatchee, about 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts. But it's going to be a lot cooler too as a big cold front begins to move down. You can see the dip in our jet stream, and this is an area of low pressure and a trough that will affect big time Montana and the Dakotas. We're on the other side of that, even though we will have a pretty cool Easter with sunny skies and temperatures about 60 degrees. And then by the time we get into Monday, nice weather ahead, everyone. We're going to see lots of sunshine on Monday. Temperatures will begin to warm up. Monday we'll see temperatures mainly in the lower 60s throughout most of central and eastern Washington. By Tuesday, even warmer than that. We'll see a warming trend beginning on Tuesday. You can see some mid-70s begin to creep up in the Tri-Cities. We'll be probably middle 60s to upper 60s on Tuesday, but almost 70 as we get into Wednesday for almost all of us. Look at these clear skies all over the western United States, and it's all thanks to that high pressure off the coast of British Columbia that will continue to bring us beautiful weather right into Thursday. Mostly sunny, unseasonably warm on Thursday. We're talking high temperatures by the end of this forecast. Notice it into the lower and mid 70s. Let's take a look now at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating and Cooling 7-day forecast. 45 overnight tonight, sunny and windy. Be ready for a lot of wind tomorrow and 64. Nice job, Malcolm. Easter Sunday coming up on Sunday and 60 degrees. I know that looks cool, but it's actually normal for this time of year. 66 on Monday, and I talked about a warming trend. 70 on Tuesday, 72 Wednesday, and all the way up to 74 by the time we get into Thursday. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
AC Checker has new owners who put customer service first. When you have to get there on time, call fast, friendly, reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. AC Checker has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee. Conditions apply. Call AC Checker, 663-TAXI to schedule your cab or schedule online at acchecker.com. Call American Classic Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
You probably won't launch hurricane-force projectiles at your truck bed.
Watch me! Watch me! I got it! Watch me! I got it! Hey!
But it's nice to know you can. Introducing Carbon Pro. If it can handle a hurricane, it can handle you. Only on the GMC Sierra.
And I'm super bad.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy finally Friday, staying home and staying healthy. I'm Eric Granstrom on the NCWLIFE channel. Here's sports news. Well, the pandemic has certainly caused a problem for colleges across the country and their athletic programs with deep cuts and financial hardships. Well, there's one coach in Washington State who is taking a voluntary pay cut to help make up some of the difference. Eastern Washington head football coach Aaron Best took to Twitter yesterday announcing he was taking an indefinite 10% pay cut in an effort to help the school and the athletic department. EWU Athletic Director Lynn Hickey responded to Best's gesture with a tweet of her own, saying she too would step up to take one for the team. Nationwide, some NCAA Division I coaches and administrators have elected to take pay cuts to help make up for the respective athletic department's revenue shortfall. Others, like Iowa State and Louisville, have implemented involuntary department-wide cuts. Well, Seattle Seahawks coach Pete Carroll sees the pandemic as just another chance to compete. Carroll was a guest on SiriusXM NFL Radio with host Jim Miller and Pat Kerwin last week. The NFL teams are preparing for the upcoming draft, knowing they'll have less chance to vet players and that the process will be changed due to social distancing. Carroll says he's ready. He says, quote, "We'll get it done. There's just stuff to be worked out. It's going to be fascinating," end quote. Seattle has 7 picks in the draft, including 3 of the top 64 and 4 of the first 101. The Seahawks were expecting to begin their offseason workout program April 20th. The rookie minicamp usually follows the draft and then on-field organized team activities with a team-wide minicamp in June. For now, all that is on hold. The NFL draft is April 23rd through the 25th. So what were we talking about a year ago today in the world of sports? The Seattle Mariners. Mariners beat Kansas City on this date 6-5 a year ago on Mitch Haniger's 2-run home run for Seattle for their 6th straight win. A year ago today, the Mariners were a Major League best 12-2. They got off to that hot start after beginning the season in Tokyo and their send-off for Ichiro Suzuki. Seattle would also set a Major League record a season ago by homering in each of its first 20 games. The previous mark was 14 held by Cleveland. In that stretch of 20 games, Mariners hit an incredible 42 home runs. Of course, things would cool significantly for Seattle as the season progressed, and the Mariners would finish dead last in the American League West and 26 games under 500. A year ago today. Well, here's what we have on tap for this weekend in the world of sports on our broadcast schedule. It starts tonight with high school soccer. Big Nine Soccer as Wenatchee hosts Moses Lake from last April. Sebastian Moraga and Matt Wisen have your play-by-play at 7 o'clock. We'll be on the Diamond tomorrow afternoon at 2. Eastmont hosts Sunnyside in baseball from April 4th a year ago. Joel Norman has your play-by-play. Then at 7 on Saturday, it's Wenatchee Wild Hockey as we'll bring you the Wild and Powell River from a game at the Town Toyota Center on December 21st. Sunday is Easter, so we'll forego our sports programming and bring you a whole bunch of Easter programming on Sunday here on the NCW Life channel. Well, time for another sports-related movie you may not have heard about. Today, it's called Undefeated. It's another sports documentary that won an Academy Award for the best in its category. It tells the story of an inner-city high school football team in Memphis, Tennessee. The story centers on 3 players with their volunteer coach who helps them on and off the field.
Let's see here. Starting right guard shot, no longer in school. Starting middle linebacker shot, no longer in school. 2 players fighting right in front of the coach. Starting center arrested. Most coaches, that would be pretty much a career's worth of crap to deal with. I think that sums up the last 2 weeks for me.
For almost 14 years, we never won a football game.
Oh my God in heaven. Chavis has serious anger issues. Stop. You go over there, Mike.
Montreal is dealing with the death of his father.
When he died, I knew I was on my own.
Number 77, O.C. Brown.
Well, his grades wasn't up like they supposed to be.
He's going to lose an opportunity to go do something with his life.
I want them to rise above the inner city knock.
Man open, and he dropped it. Vanessa's about to fall to 0-1.
Anybody can be a champ. It takes a man to stand up when this thing hits you in the mouth because it hurts. Everybody says when you get these inner city kids down, they'll lay over and you'll beat them by 40. Not us. You got to believe in yourselves, fellas.
Boy, those guys have taken some beating here. There's a Manassas player down.
God, I hope we didn't just lose him. 2 things mean most anything to him in the world is his father and football. And we got to make sure we're there for him.
Money, whatever you're going through, I promise you to get better.
This is an unbelievably good opportunity. You're down 20-0. You come back from that, now you're talking about something.
1:03 to go. Season comes to a close for somebody here tonight.
You think football builds character. It does not.
He's going to throw it. He pulls it through.
Football reveals character.
Undefeated is rated PG-13 for violence and for language. I'd recommend you watch that one maybe this weekend. It's on Netflix. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Grandstrom. Have a great weekend. Stay home, stay healthy, and we'll see you on Monday. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric, and have a great weekend. Thanks you, and that's going to do it, I should say, for our newscast tonight. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe and have a great weekend. For all the latest news in North Central Washington, go to ncwlife.com or find us on Facebook. Got a news tip? Email us at news@ncwlife.com or call 888-2020.
Get the fastest internet available in North Central Washington by switching to LocalTel and get speeds up to 1,000 meg. Call 888-8888 today or go online to localtel.com.